So, Theresa, what a huge honor. I love to connect with you. I love to learn from you. And I thought we would start today's session with just you sharing a little more about the new moon in Cancer and what specifically we can tap into in our time together, where we're going to be actually, I'm going to be guiding people through a guided visualization. But I think that the idea of intersecting this with the intention of the new moon could be quite powerful.
Well, first of all, with new moons and full moons, I'm a very, very big follower of the moon. The moon rules everything in my life. I use it also for planning business things. So I'm always working with the moons. And the new moon is the time where we want to plant our seeds. And I always like to think of it like this. When I was a kid, I used to see the Farmer's Almanac. I grew up with all farmers, by the way, in a rural area. And there was always a Farmer's Almanac. There was always True Detective magazines. I always like the True Detective magazines more than the almanac, but the almanac would fascinate me because it always had these little symbols on what you did with the new moon, what you did with the full moon, when to fish, when to plant seeds. And so when I got older and started really getting interested in magic and manifesting and all of that, I started working with the moons and using them to plant seeds or set intentions, whatever you want to call it. And I have been doing that for quite some time. And also, by the way, running my business purely through astrology. But I really got it supercharged when I started. I got the book handy. I got a book by this fellow astrologer called Jan Spiller. Yep, New Moon Intentions.
Love it.
When I started using her techniques, and I've been using them now for years, I got to tell you, this is when everything really start working. I have tons of journals where I wrote down all my new moon wishes following her formula. And it is amazing how many of them I can check them off have manifested. So I'm a huge believer in that. And this new moon in Cancer. So Cancer, first of all, the new moon, or the moon in general, rules Cancer. The moon loves being in Cancer because it's in its domicile. It means it's comfortable there. It's at home there. This is the place it loves to be. When the moon is exalted in Taurus, of course, that's the best place, but moon in Cancer, it's its natural home. So this is a great new moon to be doing any kind of wishing. But Cancer also rules family, our home, our mother, our children, our parenting, our sensitivity, our intuition is very much a Cancerian thing. So these are all themes that fall under the Cancer moon, and this is a great time to plant seeds around those themes. So for example, let's say your goal is that you want to move into a new home. You could set an intention around a new home. Or if you want to improve your relationship with your children, that would be a great intention to set with the Cancer new moon. And we always want to think with new moons, it's about, we're setting intentions for things we want to create, not things we want to end. You do endings around full moons. So what do you want to create? Do you want a better relationship with your mother? Do you want to upgrade your home? This is the time to be thinking of those. Also, the other thing, one of my favorite things to make wishes around the Cancer new moon is about security. And
Yes.
security means lots of things for different people. It could be security like I want X amount of dollars in the bank, or I want my bills paid off. Or maybe security for you means a better job. So this is another thing that you really want to be focusing on for the new moon in Cancer. All of those themes can work for this new moon.
I really love that. And I also think, and for anybody who has not ordered this book, just know that Jan does an incredible job of the specificity by which you can actually word your wishes. And I think there is power in specificity, and I'll talk about that as it relates to wishing, but the language by which you ask for things and you word your wishes, and she gives so many different examples about all of those sort of main topics according to each moon. And it's really freeing because it silences that part of your mind that wonders, am I doing this right? Like, am I wishing right? Is this going to work? And when you sort of surrender to just trying somebody else's path or method, you can start to kind of relax into it and not judge the process itself. Because even the consciousness, even the idea of like, oh, I get to wish for security, there's power in that specificity. Because if we ask for, we just want to be happy, We just want to feel just security in general. That idea of security is very different from, like that definition, like what security means to me is very different than what security means to Theresa or to anybody else. So we love this idea of specificity, and again, we can talk and maybe offer a few examples here, but then we'll talk about it as it relates to wishing specifically and what we're going to do with our guided wish circle today.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to say too, for people who are listening, this book will not only tell you how to do wishes for each new moon, but it also talks about something called the granddaddy power period, which happens X amount of days after your birthday, where you get 40 wishes on whatever you want.
I think it's actually 50.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a lot of wishes.
Yeah, and she's got a very, very good technique for also overcoming your resistance, because here's the interesting thing: when we make wishes, we have that resistance come up. Like, let's say you make a wish that your wish is about a certain amount of money you want to make. Well, suddenly you'll find yourself talking yourself out of it, like saying,
Yeah.
oh, well, but that means I may have to work harder. Well, I don't know. I really don't need that much money. I can survive out. I mean, you do all this stuff to sabotage it. And I find that sometimes people will say, well, I tried to do this manifesting and nothing worked out. And sometimes you really do sabotage it with your thinking. Other times we sabotage it through not taking action, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. But she's got something in this book on the granddaddy power period, a thing that helps you to overcome your own ability to get in your own way.
Right. I think there's always the phrase is like effortlessly, with
Yes.
grace and ease. So you can even think about how you want to experience this manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've noticed in guiding so many people through this wishing experience is the impulse to always be wishing for others. And so I really invite everybody today, specifically around this idea of security and family, this idea of wishing for yourself. You came here. You took the divine action to make time out of your busy day and your busy life to go ahead and be here. So give yourself the gift of wishing for yourself. Because the irony is that when you wish for yourself and you step into your happiness, security, abundance, purpose, all of those beautiful things, you actually do have a positive effect on the ones that you care about. You do have this feeling of showing up in the world brighter, braver, more fulfilled, and that energy is what you can use towards making changes in the world. So it's interesting how somehow we think it's more noble to be wishing for others, but we are the creators of our own story, and by letting it begin with us, it's the only thing we really can control. So embrace that, use that today to really see you in living your wish. That's what we're going to do in visualization.
There's something I want to add to that too. I think we are often told that somehow if you are doing something for yourself, or if you're wishing for yourself, that you are being selfish, and we get a lot of shame around that. Like, it's not spiritual to ask for something you want. It's kind of like when people tell you shouldn't charge for the work that you do because it's a gift. That you need to give it away. It's like the same thing. Like, you should give your wishes away. You should be wishing for world peace, or you should be wishing for someone else. And it's selfish to only want things for yourself, but that is not helpful thinking at all. And wanting good things for yourself, when you start really wanting those good things for yourself and manifesting good things for yourself, you are going to be in a better position then to do things for other people.
Absolutely. And I also want to just add too, and Theresa, you know this about me. I am such a newbie when it comes to astrology and tarot. I find it fascinating. I adore you, Theresa. So you sort of opened up this world. I'm a big fan of all of your books.
Thank you.
Such a big fan. And your Patreon. I'm also a Patreon. So anyone watching this who doesn't already follow, know, and support Theresa, get on all that. And of course, on this recording, there's going to be links to everything. But I also think that with a childlike curiosity, you can just sort of take that leap into the unknown And I would
Yes.
always wonder at my kids when they would play like hours with their Legos and build these fantasy worlds and be so in, just in it. They suspended reality and enjoyed the sweetness of their imagination. And then as we get older, somehow we just are like, oh, that program's not for me. I'm going to be very, I operate on a different plane. And I welcome this idea back into my own business life and personal life, and all of it is that when there is that resistance that wants to say, wishing may not work, or I don't know if I believe in the stars. Well, probably in this crowd you all do. But the idea of like, I'm not sure if this granddaddy wishing thing or this Jan Spiller knows what she's talking about. Instead, all of that inner yammering can just pause to open up the possibility of childlike curiosity, which puts you as the primary experiencer. So when we are going to wish together, the idea of setting that voice of judgment to the side. So while we're in it, if I invite you to see something, feel something, experience something, and there's a part of you that wants to interrupt and judge that, whatever that looks like, saying like, well, I don't know that, or where'd that come from, or that's not my wish, or to just allow it to be playful, allow it to be fun and filled with possibility, because that is the energy, the creative energy by which you can then, in many of the days to follow, use this information to delight you and surprise you and help you see the world just slightly differently so that you can feel more supported and feel more excited to take action towards what you want, to bring it into your life right now, which we'll talk about after the wish circle. But that's precisely the energy that, Theresa, you've taught me about being curious about the tarot card of the day, or that what's happening with the energy of the moon and the planets. And there's tons of people that are like, that's just a bunch of phooey. Really? Maybe there is some energy there that you just haven't tuned into yet. And if you knew about it, as you say so beautifully all the time, you can be prepared, not scared. So I think that's sort of the spirit by which we are holding this space and this activity today with one another,
And astrology has been around for a long, long time. And I like to say those farmers knew what they were doing too with those almanacs. So there is something to it. The one thing I also want to remind people, this particular moon, this is a very fertile moon. It's a fertile moon, and also this new moon is going to be framed by an aspect to Saturn, which means the wishes that we're making, the universe is really going to be paying attention. Tomorrow's new moon is very potent, it's very fertile, and so you really do want to think very mindfully about what it is that you want to plant. Like, for example, if you want to start a family, that's a very serious wish. Really, really think about it. Make sure this is what you want. The universe is listening. It'll show you the way.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, Theresa, before we dive in, maybe you can remind everybody again about the sort of energy around the new moon in Cancer, just something to think about, because for the first time ever, I'd love to sort of lead with a subtle intention, even though whatever pops up, with when we do the guided visualization, and all it is me inviting you to see a moment in time where you're really living your wish. Perhaps this can actually be connected with this month's new moon, this Cancer energy. So you'll remind us of that. And then afterwards, we'll talk about how you sort of what happens after you've experienced the wish. We're going to record that, or what the steps that you're going to do next. But then we'll remind everybody as well about the actual timing of the new moon. In a way, we're doing this a little bit as a preparation because the new moon is happening. Isn't it tomorrow around 12:30?
It's tomorrow. Let me just double check. I believe it's at 1:33. 1:33 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And there is an opposition to Saturn at 1:55. So again, it's a very, very serious, it's a serious new moon. I mean, that's like you're planting some seeds deep.
Ooh, so what's cool about this is that we're having an experience where you're going to visualize, or you're going to have feelings, or what have you. And then you have time between now and tomorrow at 1:33 Eastern time tomorrow, when the actual new moon, it's happening. Now, let's say you're not absolutely available. This is like, ideally you can do it around at the new moon, but you can also be flexible, a little before, a little after, all good. But you have the time between now and then to not only glean some insights from what you experienced today, but then going deeper. If you have a copy of Jan Spiller's book, again, you can look at those prompts to get some insights. I even think that there's a Kindle version. So if you're curious,
Yes.
can't get the hardback version, or you like digital versions, awesome, good for you. Get the Kindle version. And then you can read exactly about the wording, which is really good. So we're still having some people join in, and I'm going
And I
to.
also want to say another thing too. Right now, the period right before the new moon is called the dark moon. And the dark moon, when you look in the sky, you really don't see the moon at all. You know, the sky is like dark. It's like you get maybe like a tiny sliver when that new moon comes. And the dark moon is a really great time to be doing what we're doing today, like any type of meditative work, reflection work, because that helps you to get clear before you set your new moon intention. So there is no better time to be doing something like what we're doing today than during the dark moon. So this is like
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Theresa, or maybe anybody else, if you're resonate with what I'm about to say, but I've also feel that in that dark moon period, I feel a little rattled. Like there's stuff that's coming up, which is a really good indication for me about what I'm ready to release. Like there's
yes.
power in that, like, you have those moments. Like yesterday, I was feeling really deep fatigue. And I
Yeah.
thought, like, what is it that is ready for me to be released? And then, of course, I use your Dark Moon workbook to go deeper and give it voice, because I do believe that our challenges and our fears are our best teachers. That's
Absolutely.
there so that we can lean into it and learn from it. And then from that, we can then unearth it. We can give it light, really, literally light, and see that it's not so scary, that we're strong enough and we can deal with it. And then afterward be like, okay, and then what am I ready to put in its place, right? That there's a little space that's opened up in my psyche. The ick has left. What am I going to put in its place that is full of light and possibility? So I say, I'm just sort of making sure that everybody is in and muted. I'm so excited that everyone's here. And I'm so excited again, Theresa, to have you co-host this with me. It's so exciting. But I'm going to invite everybody, as much as I want to look at your beautiful faces, and I do, you can still stay on. What we're going to do now is I really would love for you to get comfortable. Just get comfortable where you are, because we are going to do the guided visualization now. So we have plenty of time afterwards to talk about it. And then just get comfortable and close your eyes. I'm going to do a few little gentle reminders, and that is that there's really no wrong. There's no wrong in this experience. It's all okay. It is all welcome. If you have any questions, trust yourself that you'll remember them at the end, and you can ask me. I'm here to answer all those questions, and so is Theresa. But this is an opportunity for you to reconnect to the deepest part of your being, to listen with love, without judgment, without chatter. Just allow the creativity and innocence of a child to bubble forth and give you a little insight. We're connecting with just a beautiful, loving energy right now. So just close your eyes and then put your right hand on top of your chest gently. And take your left hand and gently place that on top of your hand. So both hands are on your chest. And with that, take a nice deep breath in. Hold it for a count of 3 and gently release. And again, take a deep breath in and hold it. And then exhale for 3. One last time, we're going to take a nice deep breath in and slowly, slowly exhale. Welcome back to yourself. Now we're going to give your body just a beautiful cleansing to release any energy that might be pent up or blocking you in any way. I invite you to picture a light, golden, glimmering energy showering down gently from high up in the sky, slowly, slowly permeating the top of your head. This healing, loving energy is just touching all of your cells, finding any place in which there is held tension, resistance, worry, and filling those cells with light. Picture this shower of light moving down the back of your head, the front of your face, your eyes, penetrating through your skull, down your face, softening your jaw, around your ears, until now it moves down into your neck and shoulders, filling your neck, your spine with light. This light is moving across your chest and down your back, gently bringing into any awareness of any areas that are holding on to tension. Gently release them now. The light's moving down your arms, your elbows, your hands, out your fingertips. This light is moving down your chest, touching all of your organs, filling them with light, well-being, moving through your lungs, your heart, your digestive system, all of your organs surrounded in light, moving down your hips, dropping in and relaxing into the seat where you're sitting, moving down your legs, your knees, all the way down through your ankles and feet. You're now filled with light. All is well. Now, continue to picture this light, but now focus on the center of your chest. In the center of your chest is actually a very special light. This is your light that you were born with. And it is right in the center of your chest. Picture this, any color you wish. Picture that color right now. And as you take a deep breath in, imagine that this light is growing in intensity. And as you exhale, this light is expanding. And again, when you're ready, inhale and picture this light, this center light, this light in the center of your chest, growing in intensity. And as you exhale, it's expanding. On this next inhalation, this light is growing even more bright, and it's so intense that as you exhale, it is forming a beam of light shooting out from the center of your chest like an old-fashioned movie projector, shining your light on a blank screen in front of you. Picture this light on the screen right now. Now, slowly, slowly, your light is coming into focus, and on that screen is appearing an image. This image is of you in a moment in time at some point where everything feels just right. This moment in the future is you living your wish as if it's already come true. Allow this image to come into focus right now. Slowly, slowly, bring yourself in your mind's eye. Walk towards this screen. As you are right next to the screen, allow yourself to merge with this image and step into the moment where you are living your wish. Be there right now. Now, in this time and place where everything feels just right, I invite you to awaken your senses. This may mean that it's quite visual, or perhaps you're activating your feelings. All of it is okay. But in this moment, when you're living your wish, where everything feels just right, awaken your senses so that you can experience this moment in vivid detail. In this moment, feel your feet in that space. Get grounded. Look around and notice what's around you. What are you doing? What are you wearing? See if you can turn your body to notice a different perspective in this time and place. What do you see behind you? See if you can pick up on a tiny detail of what you notice behind you. Notice that right now. Now see if you can pay attention to the sounds that you hear in this time and place. What do you hear? Notice those sounds right now. Now bring your attention inward to your feelings. How does it feel in this time and place where everything feels just right? What 3 words would you use to describe this feeling? Name those words right now. Now, as you look around, I invite you to wander just a bit and notice 3 tiny details, little things that you're going to bring your attention to. Notice those right now. No need to judge. Just look around. Is there something you can touch? Touch it now. Maybe you want to notice what you're wearing. What's the quality of the light where you are? Now, I invite you to breathe in the energy, the feelings, the details of this time and place where everything feels just right. Breathe them in right now. This experience is inside your heart. It's inside your light in the center of your chest. And you can go back here anytime you wish. It is yours. It is of your creation. So before we say goodbye to this place, just trust that you can come back, explore more, experience more, find peace and grounding in this place. It's yours. But before we come back, let's set an intention to remember as many details as we can, as many things that you saw or heard, felt and experienced, so that we can record the experience with as much detail as possible. And before we go, maybe see if you can notice just one more thing. And slowly, slowly, I invite you to bring your awareness back to the seat in which you're sitting, wherever you are, and slowly and very gently bring yourself back to this present moment. Allowing your spine to move just a little bit, to wiggle your toes, to wiggle your fingers, and very, very slowly when you're ready to open your eyes and come back to the room. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that astral vacation. That is the best kind of vacation these days, and gratefully one that we can take for free anytime we want. How was that for everybody? You can go ahead and put it in the chat. So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that experience. How was it for you, Theresa?
I love meditation, so I am always happy to have an excuse to go inward. That was lovely.
Yay.
Beautiful.
Good. Oh, so many nice comments. Yay, I'm so glad. Thank you. Good. Well, with this, number one, I hope you are feeling some sense of relief, because I know how tense this time has been, and it's hard to get out of our own way and reconnect with peace and love and abundance and safety and all of those good things. So I would love to share with you about what happens next so that you can actually get the most out of this experience. Um, Now we enter what I call the wish work. And the wish work is where it begins with the guided visualization. So check, you did that. The next is to record this experience in vivid detail. Now here is where you can grab a journal. I'm a big fan of handwritten, so using your own energy of your hand to write it down. But after this is over, you can reflect on the details that you saw, the experiences, what you felt. Write it down in vivid detail. And if in fact you have Wishbeads jewelry, then what you'll do is you'll take the essence of what you experienced and you are going to write it as a little, like almost like a movie title. And you're going to put that into your Wishbeads bracelet or necklace. It's not mandatory, but it's to get the visual reminder. Then for 21 days, I created something called Wishwork, and you can experience it in a number of different ways. They're all free. Well, the book isn't free, but I wrote a book called Wishwork. You can buy that. Also functions as a journal. But I have a free app, as well as you can sign up at wishbeads.com/yes. And for 21 days, you get straight to your inbox or straight on your phone, a little exercise of the day. It's a little something to tune in and take action toward, because we all have habits. We have conditioned ways of being and seeing the world and operating. And the idea is that if we constantly are doing the same things, we're going to be experiencing the same result. We are creating our story. We are creating our lives, but sometimes we need to shake it up. And so I give a very, very simple roadmap to just do little things like notice smiles, which I know is very difficult in our brave masked world, but you can see somebody smile with their eyes. But noticing smiles. Oh, Cindy writes that the 21 days is amazing. Oh, I'm so great. Yay. I want to hear about, she said she manifested her wish by day 18. Cindy, get a hold of me. We'll hear about that. Actually, yeah, I'll put you on unmute for a second. But this idea is that you're starting to pay attention to other things. And I believe that we are more supported than we realize. And that if we block ourselves off from noticing, we make it harder on ourselves. So I don't ever say that your wish is going to come true, although I want to hear from Cindy what happened in day 18, because I definitely visualize something that's going to take a lot longer than 21 days to manifest. But what happens is that now you have what I call the pin in the map of where you want to go, so that you have an inkling of what action steps you need to take to get there. A long time ago, I heard someone give an example, and I thought it was so smart, that if you want to go to San Diego, you don't just sort of randomly hope, oh, I hope I stumble into San Diego one day. No, you open up a map, you look where San Diego is, and then suddenly you can work backwards to know what you need to do to get there. It's not so mysterious, and it's not based on fate. There's actual steps that you need to take. So in my visualization, I'm going to share with you a couple of things, and then I want to hear from Cindy and open it up to any questions. In my visualization, I saw myself in my own ceramic studio. Is this something that I'm going to create in my current home? No, I am not. This is about another place that I'm manifesting. And the ceramic studio was so vivid. I saw what I was wearing. I turned around and saw the window behind me. And when I asked the question, I lead you in a way because I want the thing that I'm curious about. So I wanted to see, where is this home? So I wanted to see what was in the window behind me. What vegetation is there? What does the tree look like? Because that will give me a clue as to what type of environment I see myself in. This is how I use this stuff. The other thing, when I said, notice one more thing, this is so funny. I was wearing a toe ring. I've never worn a toe ring in my life. But a few months ago, I was wearing an ankle bracelet. Now, Theresa knows me. These are not things that I normally wear, like not at all. But I use these as an indication to what can I do right now to move me in a direction that makes me feel more creative, because this is what I get from this visualization. On one hand, sure, I can start making goals around buying a new home. There's all the sort of practical things. But what I get from the visualization is an indication that my spirit is longing for creativity, is longing for like funky, bohemian, laid back, chill vibes. You know, I was listening to music, the Eagles were playing. I don't even listen to the Eagles. But there's all this stuff that I can start to glean from. I want this. Like there's something in my being, I wanted this. So I am going to go figure out where one buys things like toe rings. Theresa, you probably know, not because you wear them, but because you're like the world's best, coolest shopper. But you know what I mean? This is how you take from the visualization information that you can bring to your life right now. So in a weird way, is my anklet or my toe ring totally about the future? No, I can make that happen like no big deal right now. And maybe more creativity that I put into my schedule so I prioritize it. I tend to work too much. So this is how you can use this visualization to impact your life right now. I'm kind of curious to hear about Cindy for a second, and then I want to open it up to questions. So Cindy, can you unmute yourself? And actually, if you feel cool to be on video, it would be great to hear your story.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi. So I was on your call last month.
I remember.
Yeah, it was great. So I got the Wishbeads. I have 2 of my own bracelets that I made, and then I have a couple Wishbeads here. And it was interesting because I normally don't gravitate toward this color, but it was just I had to have these beads. So super excited about that. I'm a hairstylist, and I'm also a life coach. And I wanted to figure out a way to get my coaching business moving forward with it. And I was sort of in an area where I was stuck. So my wish was to figure out how I could attract more clients. And what I loved about the 21 days, the journey of it, it wasn't all about, focusing on your wish. There's things to they help you expand your mind and play. And I think that's what I love so much. And I think it was about day 18. I can't remember exactly what it was. There was an exercise to do something. And lo and behold, marketing's not my thing. And a marketing course came to me with the exact things that I had been looking for, had been thinking about, and other things too that I had already learned and just kind of forgot.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, that never would have came to me had I not done the wish work, because what the 21 days does, it just allows you to think a different way and see the opportunities that were always there for you, but you were so busy thinking about other things, you couldn't see them.
Yeah.
And
I hear you. I'm so happy for you. It is that weird thing of like, ask and you will receive what you are asking for.
Exactly. And just, the law of attraction definitely works. It really
Yeah. And the thing about the law of attraction, and I think thank you, Cindy, for sharing. That's so beautiful. I want to, I'll reach out to you afterward. Maybe we can have your story on the podcast, which would be fun. I have a Wishbeads podcast.
Oh, great.
But there's one thing about the law of attraction. When that movie, The Secret, came out, there was one moment that I was like, not so sure about this. And what I remember of the film is that there was a guy who had a vision, but then he was like sitting back in this lazy boy chair. And I was like, I know about like visioning, but I also know that there's a place where you have to actually do something. Like, I think there's accountability there. And so that was sort of my idea to create Wishwork, was the idea that it's both visioning and trusting that, but then you have to do work, but the work can be playful. It doesn't have to be like changing your whole life and moving to an ashram in India. It really can be playful and simple. And actually what I absolutely adore about Theresa, your work is it feels fun. It feels like friendship. It feels like community. It feels like curiosity, all the same energy, so that it doesn't have to feel heavy and daunting and serious and overwhelming And because to me, that energy just shuts me down. It makes me think
Yeah.
like, I just can't deal with this. And then I walk away. And one of the things that Jan Spiller does so beautifully as she's talking about new moon wishes is again going back to the energy of how do you wish for it? You can wish for it in a way that it is like delightful and easy and effortless and so you can break that notion of watch what you wish for because because you could say like I'm ready to be you hear about the people that do kind of break through and they're become super successful and then they didn't realize what that cost them. So you can be very intentional with this without being limited by fear, because fear just is like our ego wanting to be like you can't have that, but I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. You combat fear with love and toe rings, clearly. Now, does anybody have in the chat, you can let me know, does anybody have questions or wants, and Silver says, yes, Theresa makes it so easy to when she says earn, but I think that's what it means learn, it makes you want to learn more. That's so true. It's contagious. And all it is it takes you from a place that makes you feel I can't to I can do this. I'm curious about that. I love that. And I also love the fact that, this is my go-to that Theresa wrote, Astrology for Real Life. And because it sees you where you are, it speaks in a language you can understand. And I think that that's, it is for the astro curious like me. So it's just been such a gift. And that's my intention with Wishbeads, is really to make this approachable, easy and fun so that you can discover how powerful you are to make your wishes come true. Yeah. So what is, so Jerome asks, is there a best time to set these intentions? Theresa, why don't you answer this? Because this is more your domain, but.
When it comes to the new moon, I try to set it as close to the new moon as possible, as close to the exact time. But, I tend to be really anal like that. So I will make sure that, I know that tomorrow I've got that time marked out. I've got nothing going on. I'm making the time to sit with it. I'm going to be ready for it. Nothing's getting in the way. However, if you cannot be there at the exact time, any time up to a couple hours later is fine. So, if you can't do it in the morning, let's say the afternoon you're at work, maybe that evening you want to sit down and still put it out there.
Awesome. It's so true. And for me, it says, but not before. I like to really noodle it. So I use Jan Spiller's book to think about, really ask myself about the areas that she's inviting us to really examine and think a little bit about it in advance, and then actually physically write them down and go deeper around the exact time of the new moon. Gets a little tricky when it's like in the middle of the night. I got to say, I don't
Oh yeah. If it's in the middle of the night, no, the tarot lady needs to sleep. I don't do that. I will instead wait until
you've gone too far.
Yeah, that's too far. I want to listen. I got this Fitbit now that tells me about my sleep cycles. I am not getting up at 2 a.m. to wreck my sleep number just to get that wish up. Yeah. So I'll do it if it doesn't make sense. If the time of day doesn't make sense, then I do it a couple hours later.
Yeah. I want to read a couple of different examples of how she words this. Again, her book is available. Jan Spiller's book is over here. New Moon Astrology is available in Kindle, so you can actually get this if you want to. If you don't, it's okay too. But I want to give you a sense of the way that she writes wishes. So she's talking about Cancer rules feelings. So if you think about it in terms of feelings, her first example is, I want to consciously, consistently find myself communicating my feelings in a responsible, appropriate way. So you see how there's the language, those adjectives really not only, there's a flavor there. So you know yourself. And for me, I have a habit of making things effortful. Like I'm going to work really hard. And I had to really step back and say, wow, I want to easily and effortlessly with grace. And, those are the types of very conscious adjectives that I use in my wishes,
I had to change that also because I grew up in a household where we always told you had to go to work and earn everything. And while there is truth that you have to do your work, right? But oftentimes I would be creating a lot more harder ways to get things. And that's one of the things this book really helped with.
Me too.
Just learning how to word that differently. I'm like, why didn't I think of ease?
Yeah, so easy. Kimberly asks, would you recommend coming up with an affirmation for what we're manifesting or wishing? For me, the statement that you put into your Wishbeads bracelet or necklace or whatever, even if you don't have it, just write your affirmation or your wish on a Post-it, something that you can see that's visual. Put them on multiple Post-its. The affirmation can be, I always cook like a movie title, but it can even go deeper, almost like your big wish, you know? Now I'm trying to think of how I can give an example using and if you want to share, if you want to unmute yourself, you can actually ask me specifically and I can tell you more about your wish and give you some samples. I could maybe think of how to weave in some, when I think about my pottery studio, it is just like my funky, fabulous, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to make this like an affirmation, like I easily and effortlessly create my funky and fabulous studio. I don't know, I'm making that up. But the idea is that when I think of that pottery studio that I know is my space, it's not very big, but it's mine, my little cave of creativity. That phrase right there, it feels so great to be in my cave of creativity. That feeling, my cave of creativity, I can start to bring into my life right now. So number one, that's my positive affirmation. And that's also the simultaneously seeing the future, but then saying like, how can I create my cave of creativity today? What is that going to look like? And it may mean making a really fun dessert for my family, or it may mean me doing like a little watercolor, or actually I have like all these pieces of pottery that I was taking a pottery class before COVID happened and everything got shut down, and they're all like sitting nearby, but I still have a hunk of clay. So it might mean just making stuff for fun or doing some dyeing projects. Like these are things that I consciously need to put in my calendar so that I can spend time in the cave of creativity. But that's the idea. And then suddenly you're just like, yeah, that's who I am. And it's from that place you have more energy and insight and calm and clarity and can take that energy and spill it over into all other aspects of your life. But you have to give it to yourself first. I'm going to use that cave of creativity. Thanks for that. So, yes, Theresa is actually answering that you can use tarot to ask about what you need to know about your wishes. Yes, absolutely. I'm astonished. Like I find it so odd when I'm as a tarot newbie, when I will ask the question of what do I, just to give me some insight. And it's always just so oddly spot on. Whew, blows me away.
Tarot is very helpful, but so also tarot and astrology are like I always say my secret sauce.
Yeah.
They work together really, really well. Cindy also mentioned too that she's interested in moon cycles, but it's overwhelming. And here's the thing, a lot of people will make things overwhelming. And I think it's because they want to sound smart. And it doesn't need to be like that. The best magic is always the simplest magic. It's always the simplest magic. I started studying magic many years ago when I lived in New York. And the best stuff was always straight to the point, very simple, none of this complicated hoo-ha. Because if you're simple, it's clear, it's clean, you're getting right to the heart of it. And the same with the wishing and the lunar cycles. Just remember to plant those seeds on that new moon. That is all you need to know. And you're golden.
Yeah. And even in that place where you make your own magic. So if you're feeling down, you're feeling low, and we all have those moments, go into the bathroom. The next time you're in the restroom, you look up, you see yourself in the mirror, and you smile at yourself. You give yourself a compliment. You shower yourself with love. It is so wildly simple. It's radically simple. But it is that little gesture to yourself of selfless giving that you can start to feel that energy again, that you can bring it instead of out of a concept in your mind to experience that love. And when we have made to believe that all of that needs to come from outside, that we're just waiting and waiting for all of the things, We need to put ourselves and remind ourselves that we are the creators. We are the heroes of our own life. And it begins with us. So just today, give yourself that love looking into the mirror, and you will start to be like, wait a minute, this is a little bit easier than I thought. So be tender and be good to yourself, and allow yourself, going back to that idea of childlike curiosity as you explore new moon wishing. And literally, I don't overthink it. I listen to Theresa and I do my new moon wishes based on this book. Like, that's it. I'm no scholar here, but I invite this experience alongside the wishing that I do in my own life, and the wishing that I lead, and all of that. So I invite this experience and live this experience, and I'm as much a student of it as you are. Yeah. So there is a question about you can write down up to 10. Again,
Yes.
I don't know why it's 10, but it's not 9 and it's not 11. So keep it simple. Write 10.
Yep.
And around the granddaddy period, around your birthday-ish, I think you get 50, which I got
Yes.
a lot of wishes.
But you can also go back to other wishes and you can put them again to reinforce it.
Yeah. And
Because
I do believe,
oh, go ahead.
well, no, I know you've mentioned in the past that this idea of having a journal where you're where you're keeping your wishes, it's really powerful to go back and look at what you wished for. And then you start to realize how amazing you are to create stuff, because you can just literally read what you did and you're like, oh my gosh, that happened and this happened. And that's so crazy. Like, that's exactly what happened.
The journals are the best part.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Theresa, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your delightful, amazing energy with us and opening up Wishbeads to your community so graciously, as you always do. I'm so happy to be on your Instagram lives in the morning as a participant, and to meet so many wonderful people through you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this topic. I love you. I love Wishbeads. I'm a big fan, big believer. My cat is too. He just decided to join us. So I'm just really delighted that we were able to spend time together with all these wonderful people, many familiar faces too, and some new ones.
I know. It's been such a joy, and I loved seeing some familiar faces as well. So thank you so much for spending time with us. I will be posting this recording on our YouTube channel. I almost forgot to say, if you would like Wishbeads and haven't purchased them yet, we are doing a summer sale. Just enter the code SUMMER25, the number 25, and it's 25% off your purchase. So SUMMER25. And fortunately, most of the time, Theresa's not going live on her Instagram, because I tend to go live on my Instagram at 8:30 in the morning Pacific time. So you can check both of us out on Instagram in the mornings. And I'm chatting about the Wishwork and whatnot. And I was fully inspired to do this. This is my last little props. I'm going to give you my love, because I know you got to go. But we were on a retreat in Hawaii earlier this year, which now seems like 10 years ago. But every morning, as I was like puttering down the stairs, like going to get some coffee, there's Theresa with her phone up in front of this beautiful window overlooking a waterfall, doing her Instagram lives. And I was like, that's amazing. She's like still doing her thing, even though she's, it's like so early in the morning, sharing her wisdom. And all of us like behind was like, isn't she the coolest? I'm like, she's the coolest. And then when the pandemic hit and suddenly I was not like running around on business meetings and whatever, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that myself. So I've been so enjoying the experience of going live every day. And it's because of you, Theresa.
Thank you. Well, I'm very reliable. When I tell people I'm going to do something, I do it. Even if I'm on vacation, I still post those card of the day,
I love
I think reliability is underrated.
It really is.
Underrated quality.
Yeah, totally. And you are so impressive in terms of your discipline, what you make happen. I love it. You're a girl after my own heart. So I am going to be in my creative cave and be rocking all the things that I'm rocking. And I'm just happy to have you as a mentor in my life. You truly are.
Thank you.
I love you.
Oh, I love you. And I think Dao Zen is feeling the love too.
Yeah, totally, totally. Well, everybody have a beautiful, beautiful day. You absolutely deserve it. If you have any questions at all, do contact. You can reach out to me at alexa@wishbeads.com. Or check us out on our lives. But what a joy. Happy wishing. Do stay in touch. If you have wish stories to share, like my friend Cindy, do be in touch with me, because your sharing your journey is actually the thing that's going to inspire others, right? Because they can do it too. And that's what we're doing here. It's making people's wishes come true. All right, friends, stay amazing. Thank you so much. And have a
Bye,
beautiful,
everybody.
beautiful, beautiful day.